So come to standing, lift and roll the shoulders. Breathing in, turn the head to the left. Breathing out, turn the head to the right. In to the left. And out to the right. Come back to the centre. Breathing in, raise the right arm, stretch it up. Breathe out, turn the head to the left. When you're ready, breathe in and bring your head to the centre. And breathing out, lower the right arm. And breathing in, raise the left arm. Breathe out, turn the head to the right. Breathing in, come back to the centre. And breathing out, lower the left arm. Lift and roll the shoulders. Bring the hands together at the palm centre. Bring the palms together at the heart centre. Circle the arms up. Clasp and reverse. Palms upwards. Breathe out. Lower the palms back down alongside you. Just circle the arms up. Clasp and reverse. Breathing out, lower the arms alongside you. And one more time, circling the arms up, clasp and reverse, and breathing out, circle the arms down. Lift and roll one shoulder, and lift and roll the other shoulder. Lift and roll both shoulders back. And once more come to turn the head to the left as you breathe in. Come to the centre and breathing out, turn the head to the right. Come to the centre. Just circle the wrists only up to where suits you. You can go all the way up if you want to, but you don't have to. And then circle the wrists down. Lift and roll the shoulders. And come to this familiar all energy movement, going from side to side. And then start to slow it down. And then come to standing. Lift and roll the shoulders. And breathing in, hands circle to the top. Palms together, come through the centre to half lift, hands on the shins. Breathing in, half lift. Breathing out, soften the knees, bend the elbows. Breathing in, half lift. And stay here as you breathe out. And then breathing in, press the feet down into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Raising the arms up, stretch the fingers and lower the arms. Hands together at the heart centre, circling the arms up, stretching up, and then coming down through, hands onto the shins, breathing in, lengthen, half lift, breathing out, soften the knees, soften the elbows, half lift, stay here as you breathe out. And when you next breathe in, soften the knees, press the feet into the ground and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Raising the arms up, join the thumbs and just sway from side to side. A reminder that our strength derives from us being flexible, and that rigidity can lead to things breaking, which can include the emotional aspect as well. Then come to the centre and lower the hands. And then we've done this before, I'm not sure if you have, Annie. Just place one foot in front of the other and just stand up, so or try to, and then just bring the hands together. And you can stay here, or of course you can go, as I'm wobbling as well, and I'm blaming you. We're just going slightly from side to side, so you don't have to move. It's a test on our balance, which, and then just gently come to the centre, keep the hands there, and then bring the next foot, reverse what you did. The other foot, the back foot, comes in front now. See if that's any better. It's a freestyle. You can stay still. You can go from side to side. Just testing your balance. And very gently come to lower the arms. And then just release, lift and roll the shoulders. So a balance is very good for a mindfulness type of exercise. It just distracts the mind. Cross the right foot over the left. Raise the hands up. I'm going to join the forefingers together and the thumbs. And just go to one side, come to the centre and go to the other side. One side will feel much more natural. So I think for me, going to the left feels I'm stretching out the right side. And then come again just to a couple of times either side in your own timing. So lateral stretch. Tummy in, come to centre and lower the arms. And then we're going to uncross the legs. And then the left foot will go in front of over the right foot. And again, raising the hands up. And you'll find that one side feels a lot more natural than the other side. And it reflects our brain. It kind of goes into what part of our brain is more dominant, left-handed or right-handed. But it's quite an interesting reminder of how our balance might go off centre a little bit, particularly if you've been ill, so don't beat yourself up. And then come to the centre and then just lower the hands back down again. Uncross the legs and just again slightly go from side to side. And then coming to the centre, and before we come to movement on the mat, lying down, this again, we've done this before, palms up, palms out, palms back, turn the palms down, breathing in, stretch them out, bring them back, and then lower them. Turn the palms up, stretch them forward, back, palms down, back, and lower. Palms up and forward, back, palms down, and lower. And one more time, palms up, forward, back, palms down, back and lower. Lift and roll the shoulders and just opening here, collarbones, clasp the hands behind you and just aim the knuckles to the ground. And again, you're opening at the shoulder level. And then just release. Palms together. And then we're going to come down to the mat to start our practice. Come to the mat to just first knees bent, feet hip width apart, and palms either down alongside you or resting on the abdomen. And just very gently take a pelvic tilt. So that means flattening the back to the ground as if you're going to lift the bottom and then releasing. And flattening and then releasing. And one more time, flatten and release. And then start to sway the knees from side to side. The hips can lift off the ground. Your hands can stay palms down alongside you. They can stay on the abdomen, or they can open out in either a T or an A, depending on your capacity. And as you sway the knees from side to side, just notice what initiates the movement, the swaying, whether it's your feet, whether it's your knees, or whether it's the pelvis that activates the sway. And there's no right or wrong, it's simply an observation. And you might like to try swaying, initiating the movement from a different part that you normally do. It's just an awareness. And then if this is going to mess with your mind, you can start to involve your head by turning the head as you move your knees. So normally you would perhaps turn the head away from the direction of the knees. But again, if you feel like turning your head in the same direction of the knees, and that's fine too, move to how you feel. The more you have your feet wider apart, the more your knees will drop into the centre, and possibly the softer it might be. You're obviously lifting your hip off the ground. But again, it's a freestyle movement to suit you. You're massaging across the top of the bottom, and I think I looked that up, and that's the GB30 acupressure point, which is a fairly major point running. Can often get very tight, so that's a way of massaging that. In other things, and possibly Pilates actually, I mean, maybe Charlotte can have a view, you can sometimes put a tennis ball, soft tennis ball underneath that point and just massage. And then just very gently come back to the centre. Just let the movement settle in the body. And then very gently you can opt to keep your knees bent, or you can extend your right leg along the ground. We're going to be hugging the left knee into the chest. So whether you keep the right knee bent or you extend the right leg along the ground is up to you. Extending the right leg is a stronger stretch where you feel is good. And then just circling the left knee a couple of times in one direction. And then circling the left knee a couple of times in the other direction. And then dropping the hands to underneath the left thigh, I'm clasping mine. Just raise the left sole of the foot up to the ceiling, your knee can be bent. And extend the left heel, point the left toes a couple of times. Starting to get circulation into the left foot. And then very gently circle the left ankle in one direction. And then circle the left ankle in the other direction. And then hugging the left knee into the chest once more. And then just very gently placing the left foot back down onto the ground. If your knees are bent, just sway the knees from side to side a couple of times. And then come to focus on the right knee, hugging the right knee into the chest. And the option is to extend your left leg along the ground or not. And circle your right knee a couple of times in one direction. And then very gently circle the right knee a couple of times in the opposite direction. And then dropping the hands to underneath the right thigh, clasping perhaps, raise the right foot to the ceiling and extend the right heel. And then point the right toes and extend the right heel a couple of times. And then just very gently circle the right ankle a few times in one direction. And then circle the right ankle a few times in the opposite direction. And then hug the right knee into the chest. Hug the left knee into the chest, so both knees are now into the chest. And just very gently rock a little bit from side to side. And then very gently place the feet supporting underneath the thighs back onto the ground. Have your knees bent, feet are hip width apart. And raise the hands up above you. You can hold your elbows or anywhere along your arms, even towards the wrists, and just feel the stretch under your arms and the upper part of the chest. You might find that your back arches slightly and that there's a little gap under the lower part of the back. It's really opening up the upper part of the body, under the arms, which is the upper lymphatic system that we're tuning into. And then come to clasp the hands and place your clasped hands under your head. Elbows are out to the side. And just very, very gently breathing out, so reverse breathing, just lift your head, supported by your hands, and then just releasing and relaxing, lower the head back down to the ground. Your elbows might open out a little bit or not very much. When you do this again, breathing out, flatten back to the ground and just lift the head a little bit. You're only lifting your head as much as your tummy muscles stay flat. If they don't, you've gone too far. And then just breathing out, lowering the head back down to the ground. And this next time, as you breathe out, lifting up, your elbows come together And you just slightly move towards the right. So just slightly cradling your head. And then coming back to the centre, releasing and relaxing back down to the ground. And then breathing out again, flattening the back, the elbows slightly come together. And you aim the elbows slightly over towards the left. How much you want to come up is up to you. But again, try not to dome the tummy. And just once more to each side in your own time, your own breathwork pattern. And then to the other side. And then release the head back down to the ground. Slide the hands out from underneath your head. Hug the knees into the chest once more. Just very gently rock from side to side. And then we're going to either come to roll onto the sides. Ultimately, we're going to come to a seated position. So you can roll onto your side and come up to a seated position, or you can rock up, whatever works for you to come up gently. And feet out in front of you. Bouncing the legs for circulation. You can take the flesh out from under the bottom. You can rub your legs, you can tap your legs, boosting the circulation. You don't have to confine it to your legs, you can tap your arms, tap your chest. And then just very gently take your legs out into a V. And bend the right leg up, hug the right knee into the chest, and then open the right knee to the right. Doesn't have to be precise, your knee doesn't have to come to the ground. Just touch the hands to either side of you, and as you breathe in, just lengthen the body. And then breathing out, just turn slightly to the outstretched left leg. And here we're just going to walk the hands down the left shin. You might not go very far. You can just release down a little bit, or you can release down a lot. So in yoga, this is called Janu Sirsasana, so it's head to knee pose. Janu is knee, and Shirs, a bit is the head, and Asana is the pose. So it's knee to head pose. And coming forward in this slight forward bend is very helpful for the nervous system. Helpful to activate the vagus nerve. You've got a slight rotation, which is helpful for rebalancing the spine. And you've got an opening of the, in this case, the right groin, which connects into the lower lymphatic system. So it ticks a lot of boxes. And then tummy in, slide the hands up, right hand behind you, and left hand goes up, and just look at your left thumb. A mindfulness exercise. Hard to stress when you're looking upwards like this. Breathing out, lower the arm. And before we come to the other side, I just wanted to highlight one of the 5 perfect hip poses. If you bend up your stretched left leg, you'll be in a double V, which is one of the 5 perfect hip poses for hip health. Do take support with your hands either side of you, and just very gently turn the head to one side. When you're ready coming through, turn the head to the other side. And again, once more in your own time. Coming back to the centre, lean on your hands to lean backwards slightly to allow you to lift your legs up and stretch your legs out again. And then just bounce them. You maybe want to massage them, tap them, your choice. And then your legs are in a slight V as you bring in your left leg. Extend your right heel if that works for you. Just very gently lengthen your body and then turn towards the right outstretched leg, tummy in. And here we're just going to very leisurely walk the hands down the front of the right knee. You can come down a lot, you can come down a little bit. I think particularly if you've been recovering from an illness, you can get very stiff very quickly, and everything just needs to de-stiffen a bit gently. And you can explore maybe moving your hands slightly further down. Depends, the body tends to take a little while to release out. And then just very gently walk the hands up the leg again. Place the left hand behind you and right thumb up to the ceiling. Again, a mindfulness exercise. Hard to be stressed when you're looking upwards. And then lower your arm and lower your head back to neutral. And try bending up your right outstretched knee so that you're in a perfect hip health position. If you ever wanted to do this at home, you could have a cushion underneath your right buttock if it's not connecting to the ground. Hands to either side of you, and just very gently turn the head from one side to the other. And then bring the head back to the centre, tummy in, come to bring the legs back upright again, and then just open the legs into something called Virabhadrasana, bound angle pose. So soles of the feet together, they can be a long way away from you, they can be closer to you, to where your capacity is. So you can again feel the groin opening here, but it's very good for your lymphatic system, the lower part of the body, and very good supplying blood to the pelvic region. And there are variations on this where you would lie down with your blanket under your pelvis so it's slightly supported up, and the blood can then run back slightly. So this is an upright version, but there are other versions. Maybe use your thumbs to just massage the insoles of the feet. And if Sue were here, ode to Sue, she would say, massage the ankles. For lower lymphatic system, trace down on the tops of the feet, in between the bones for the upper lymphatic system. And then the centre of the foot, just sort of underneath the ball of the foot in the centre, is the solar plexus, so it's like our power point. But anywhere on the foot or on the feet is really quite nice. And then just very gently coming up. If you're okay to sit in a cross-legged position, please do. If that's not great for you, then just sit with your legs out. And we're going to do our cat-cow, but a seated cat-cow. So holding anywhere, knees or below the knees, breathing in, sitting up, and breathing out, rounding chin to chest. Breathing in, sitting up, and breathing out your own time. And just do a few of these in your own time. Getting movement into the spine. You're coordinating the movement with your breath, even if you're not thinking about that. So it becomes a breathwork exercise as well, and almost slightly meditative. And then come to the centre, tummy in, and just walk your fingers of the left hand out to the left. They can stay up or down. And with the tummy in, bend the right elbow, chin into chest, and feel that you're between two panes of glass as you open out sideways, sliding your hand away from you. It can come right down to the floor, or you might not want to come down that far. Tummy in to come upright. Right hand to the floor, just walk the right fingers away from you, bend the left elbow, chin into chest. And again, feel that you're opening between two panes of glass. So that almost opens you upwards rather than come down. The second you come forward, you compromise the lateral aspect of the pose. So it can look pretty, but the function has been destroyed. So it's kind of just a lengthening. Tummy in, and then lower the hands. And then we're going to come on to, how are your knees?
Okay, I've got a bad foot. No, that's all right.
Okay. So I think we're okay to do this.
Yeah.
Coming onto the hands and knees, we're going to come to a shoulder stretch, again that we don't often do. So I sometimes come low. I bring my elbow to the ground, up to you. So come in flat tabletop. Just open the right arm out to the right, and then tummy in. Slide the right palm upwards, behind your left hand, and bring your right shoulder to the ground. Chin comes to chest, so you're on the right side of your head. It's a weird one. It's called threading the needle, but obviously on the upper part of the body. There are all kinds of variations for here. But for the moment, as we don't do it very often, perhaps just stay static. It's quite a twist on the shoulders. It can be deeply satisfying. And then to come out of it, tummy in, slide the right hand out and back up to tabletop. Just maybe wiggle your bottom from side to side before we come to the other side, which is then turning the left palm upwards, sliding the left palm behind the right hand, coming to resting on the left shoulder, left side of the head, bottom is up in the air. You can release the weight heavily onto the ground, or you can just explore. We can get very stiff at this time of year in the shoulders and the neck, and this is a way of letting gravity and the ground kind of take the support of the shoulders here. And then tummy in to press your right hand down and slide the left hand out. And then we're going to go into the upper back, which can also get very stretched. So bottom up, it's puppy pose. Bottom up in the air, walking the hands forward. I've got my elbows on the ground. I've got my head on the ground and my bottom is up in the air. If you don't like being so far down, you can have your hands on your hands made as fists, your forehead on your hands as fists. But for a more satisfying stretch in between the upper thoracic area, I quite like to have my bottom really up in the air. And you can feel that stretch of the upper thoracic it really gets into areas that things can't necessarily get into quite so well. It's quite nice for the lower back as well, the bottom up in the air. And then tummy in, walk the hands back. I hear what you're saying about your feet, so you might not want to come to downward dog. We're going to come to standing.
Do downward dog, I'm sorry.
No, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to come to standing. But come to standing however you want to, but Charlotte and I might come via downward dog. So tucking the toes, and you just come to standing however you want to. Just lengthening the back, and walking the dog, and then coming to rolling up to standing. Bringing the feet to the hands to the feet, and rolling up to a standing position. And lifting and rolling the shoulders. And then we're going to come to one of the warriors, because any of the warriors, there are three of them that I'm aware of, and they're called Virabhadrasana. They're all uplifting for the body because they lengthen here at the chest, so they're anti-depressing, uplifting, particularly lovely for this time of the year. We're going to start very gently, hands on the waist, step forward with the left foot, right foot out slightly to give you your balance. If your balance is wobbling, you can always put your left foot out more to the edge of the mat. And just soften the front left knee, dropping the weight centrally. You might want to adjust your feet wider. I'm tall, so I perhaps need my feet further back. And then just straighten the leg. Lift the chest. Feel that you're lifting the chest, so you're dropping the weight centrally. And just feel how uplifting that feels. It's when your people are depressed kind of come forward, but this is the antithesis of that. Very good for osteoporosis. And then you can come to try cactus arms, if that's how good for your shoulders, and then come upright again. And then you can just explore lifting your hands a bit further. Looking ahead. The full warrior one is, you might not want to do, because it does unbalance you, I think, is really looking up and hands closer together, and that might be too much. So you come to where you want to, and then lower the hands, step the left foot back, and then just lift the feet. That's what I love about, well, any of this type of exercise, not just constrained to yoga, is that you've got the grading. So if you don't feel like doing downward dog, but you want to do a soft warrior, that's fine. You'll still get the benefit from it. But if you want to be challenged a bit further, you can do the full thing. But I will once I get better. It doesn't matter. It absolutely doesn't matter. And then stepping the right foot forward, turning the left foot out slightly. Feel for your balance, you can turn your right foot out further. And we're going to do the same thing on the right side, hands on the waist. I probably will adjust my foot back. And then I'm just going to soften my right knee and just drop my weight centrally. There's a tendency to drop forward, which is going to put extra weight over your right hip and knee. So if you can come back and lift your chest, that takes the weight away from your front knee. There are some traditions of yoga where it's quite permissible to lift your back heel so that you get more of a twist round to the front. It does give you a nice twist. I'm never great with my balance, so I always feel I'm wobbling. So I always like to put my back foot down, but you'll equally get a split. Some people like to have their back heel up. And then just raise the hands. You're opening here at the shoulders, the lung meridians. And then you just explore to however you want to go. So breathing in as you stretch up and breathing out as you lower your arms. Breathing in as you raise your arms to whatever works for you. And then breathing out. And then I suggest we stay here, but if you wanted to challenge, and I'm thinking of Charlotte more, but very welcome. The other aspect, almost going to Warrior 3, is that you tummy in, perineum engages, so Annie, please don't feel you've got to do this. You come forward in a straight line. It's called Humble Warrior. Tummy in. Oh, so there you are, another type of warrior. And you raise your hands behind you, but that is very strong on the balance. To be able to do that, bringing the weight to the back foot is hard. Tummy in to come up. Well done. Well done. If you wanted to balance your other side and switch your feet to Humble Warrior on the other side, please do, but don't feel you have to. So just left foot forward, raising the hands, tummy in, lengthen, feel that your spine is lengthening, your tummy comes in, perineum engages, lengthen from, lift the chest almost, chin in. You're almost coming forward by millimetres. Humble Warrior. So it's quite a, it looks so simple, but you're engaging a lot of muscles to get there. Tummy in, press the feet down, and coming up.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's tough. And then just come to the centre, feet wide apart, slide the hands, fingers pointing in, and just, it's slightly forward bend, just slightly sway from side to side. You're compensating for the movement that you've made. Again, it's calming for the body and the nervous system, just to have a slight reset. And then just very gently come to kneeling and then come once more onto the back. Knees bent. And we can even just hug the knees into the chest. Just to let the body settle and start to absorb the movement that we've made. It's looked terribly simple and non-challenging, but something like Humble Warrior, again, engages quite a few, I don't know what it is, muscles. And then just hands underneath the thighs, feet onto the ground, hands on the tummy, and breathing in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth a few times. You're upping your nitric oxide. Boosting your immunity. And then just widen the elbows and bring the hands to the ribs. Same thing. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Calming the whole system down. And then bringing the elbows in and just touching very lightly for a breath or two the collarbones. A reminder that the breath goes all the way up to your fingers almost. You tend to shorten the breath. And then just release the breath and hug both knees into the chest. And we're going to finish with a very familiar Papanasana Variation. Hug both knees into the chest. And in your own breath pattern, as you breathe in, let both knees drift away to arm's length. Hugging both knees into the chest. Still holding them, let them drift away. And just do that a few times in your own breath pattern. Just letting the body benefit from the massage. Your weight of the body is giving you your massage, doing that for you, just letting it settle. particularly your L4 and L5 lumbar vertebrae, where you're doing all the heavy duty twisting and turning. Get a bit of a massage here. It's very soothing for the lower back, but generally this fetal position is very soothing anyway. And then very gently let the feet come to the ground. And have your thought for the day. It can be for yourself or someone close to you. And think that thought a couple of times. And now that thought is set and it's drifting off, the intention's been set for the day. And then very, very gently we're going to come to a seated position, but we can come via rolling to the side, taking your time, not to spoil the relaxed energy that we've kind of worked towards, relaxed towards, coming up. And then coming to a seated position. Just do a couple of cat-cows again, chin to chest. And then just bring the hands to the heart, chin to the chest, taking a bow for yourself. Thank you very much for joining me today.